Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So I've gotten a ton of questions in my DMs on Instagram about what I eat in a day. So if you watched any of my other videos, you know that I intermittent fast. So what is intermittent fasting? Basically, it's that I have a window of time where I don't eat at all and I have 0 calories. So for me, I start eating at noon and I stop eating at 8 p.m. and that's what I do daily. Now, I think it's important to not have it really affect like your daily life and quality of life. So I'm not super strict, and what that means is on the weekends, I usually will eat past 8 p.m. on a Friday and a Saturday, and sometimes instead of eating at noon, I'll eat at 1 p.m. So I'm pretty flexible. So when I wake up in the morning, I eat nothing, but I do drink coffee. So for me, I have a black coffee, and you can do that when you're intermittent fasting. People have said it's been really hard to adjust from having like coffee with cream and sugar into black coffee, and I 100% agree, because I was like a creamaholic. Like I would just like have as thick of a cream as you can with like 4% and like put it all in there. But what I did was I initially would start off by doing it like less cream, then I switched to milk, then I switched to skim milk, and then eventually black. So that was my tidbit. So I have about 1 cup of coffee in the morning, and then at noon I have yogurt. So this is my first meal of the day. You can see here it's Greek yogurt. So here it's 0% fat, but honestly I don't really care. I just go with whatever's on sale. I actually think fat is amazing for you. It's really good for your health if it's a good fat. So sometimes I'll go to 2%, sometimes there's even higher percentages, 3.5. Not really picky as long as it's Greek, because there's really high protein in this, and that allows me to feel full for longer. So I take this, I have about a cup of this. Then my secret is I have granola. So, I don't know if you can super see here. Awkward pose number 1. But anyways, I have a 1/4 of a cup of granola that I made, and I actually make it in a big tub every month, because I find granola is super expensive, and I don't really know why, because it's literally oats and like nuts. So that will keep me full until about like 2:30. Then I usually will have a snack and another cup of coffee. So I have a black cup of coffee around 2 p.m. as well. I try not to drink coffee after 3 o'clock, because then I find it really affects my ability to sleep. And also you don't want to have caffeine too late, because it does affect your sleep cycle and your ability to fall asleep. I'll definitely talk about caffeine in another video. Anyway, after I have my coffee, I usually have a snack. So my snack are popcorn. So this one's a little bit of an unhealthy version because I love truffle. It's like drool, but this is what I have. So I mean, there's quite a bit of sodium in this, which is a lot of salt. Sodium is salt. However, with sodium and salt, it really depends on the person. Me personally, I have very low blood pressure. I'm young. I can tolerate a bit more salt in my diet. So it definitely depends on the person and what their current salt status is. Salt can definitely lead to bloating, and I'll definitely talk about bloating in another video, because there's like a whole bunch to say about that. Or I definitely love this brand Made Good. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but it's awesome because as an allergist, it doesn't have a lot of the allergens. So, working in my office, I don't have to be worried that, I'm gonna drop like a peanut on the ground and then a kid's gonna come in and like eat it off the ground, because kids eat everything off of anywhere, I've learned. And then I feel like, oh my God, the kid goes into anaphylaxis and it's my fault. And then, it's just too much drama. So Made Good. So for dinner, I will take you on a ride. I'm actually gonna make dinner with you guys. It's dinner time. So basically, if you watched my day in the life video, I work out after work, and then now I make dinner. So I usually use Good Food, which I think I mentioned in my previous video as well, because I really love the portion control, as well as the fact that I don't have a waste in my groceries. Sorry if I'm a bit sweaty because I just worked out. I guess I could also one day make kind of a video of what types of exercises I do, and how I try to balance out my exercises in order to reach my fitness goals. So let me know if that's something you're interested in. So today we are making, drum roll, spiced grilled chicken. And the menu that I pick, and you can pick different ones depending on what you want is the clean menu. So it's not really, there's also like a low calorie one, there's one where you're vegetarian. It really depends on what you love. So for me, this is great because it allows for, it's a higher protein diet, and I can pick and choose if I want carbs or no carbs, just based on what my nutrition goals are. So today I'm having grilled chicken, and basically it comes in a pre-packaged thing like this, and I literally just follow the instructions, which I love. And it literally says, oh, this will take you 20 minutes. And I really love that because like I'm a little bit OCD organized. And so it kind of tells me exactly what I predict my timing will be like. And then, yeah, so basically I'm gonna start off by, apparently I'm supposed to do something with this. Shuck the corn. I will be shucking the corn for the first time in my life today. Probably won't video this because it's gonna be a little bit embarrassing. I've never shucked a corn before. I'm gonna have to watch a YouTube video on that one. But yeah, I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's done, and that will be my dinner. So stay tuned for what it'll look like soon. Okay, so shucking the corn is super messy, and that's just a lesson learned from my end. I can, cut a piece of the stomach in surgery, but this is not easy. All right, team, this is the finished product. And this is the mess I made, but still, that's my dinner. So I hope that was super useful for you to figure out what I eat in a day. I do want to touch on a couple things. Obviously, that's just one day of what I eat. I tend to keep my breakfast pretty similar. Usually when I break my fast, I do use a yogurt that's high fat percentage, a Greek yogurt that has protein, and I mix that up with nuts, which is also super high in fat. The reason I do that is because when you're going 16 hours without food, the hunger hormone, which is called GHRELIN, goes up. And then you really want to satiate yourself. And by having something really small and tiny and not hefty for that breakfast or break fast, which is at noon for me, you really aren't going to suppress that GHRELIN hormone and cause the release of leptin, which is what makes you full. So that's why it's important that your first meal is having high fat and high protein. People ask me, for dinner time, do I have any carbohydrates? And the answer is yes. Carbohydrates or sugar is important for you in terms of your metabolism, but it's the type that matters. You don't want to be having simple carbohydrates like sugar, pop, chocolate, rice. These are simple carbohydrates. Complex ones such as sweet potatoes, chickpeas, squash, for example, these allow for slow release of carbohydrates in your body, and then that prevents the whole insulin spike. Once again, insulin, super important. As I mentioned, the whole point of intermittent fasting is you're trying to reduce your insulin spikes. So if you're gonna have simple sugars, what ends up happening is you have highs and lows in your sugar in your blood, and then you get hungry or hypoglycemic, and then that causes you to snack more. So the whole point is to try and avoid that. So boom, complex carbs just for you. Now, the last question people ask me a lot is, do I snack in between? And the answer is yes. So for me, I eat at noon, and then I get hungry around 3 or 4 p.m. I usually do have a snack, and I mentioned those earlier. And then allows me to work out, and then after my workout, I eat dinner, and then I'm good for the night. So I think it's important whenever you're snacking to think about that 8-hour window. You don't have a ton of time to eat. You do want to keep your calorie intake high or sufficient for your body type. So you don't want to be, having something that doesn't have, either complex carb, high protein, high fat, and you do want to be keeping yourself nutritiously adequate. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for coming and watching again. I really want to provide you guys the evidence behind eating, foods, immunity, beauty tips that actually have evidence. So subscribe, and thanks again.